Welcome to Confessions of a Wife, Mom, and Realtor, the Raw podcast, all about the messy, true lives of working moms in real estate. In this podcast, we talk about the hilarious mishaps and successes that are pretty much guaranteed when it comes to selling real estate while managing a family. I'm your host, Nicole Ward, the boots on the ground toddler mom who swears like a sailor and fails extravagantly, all while running my own real estate business. So grab a juice box and that basket of clean laundry that still needs folded, because we're going to jump right in. All right, guys. So I have Holly Van Riper with us today. How are you, Holly?
Good. How are you, Nicole?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so excited that you are on this podcast today. You were on my list of like the top person I need to talk to about being a realtor mom.
Yeah.
So tell me, or tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your career, when you got licensed, where you were in life when you got licensed.
Okay. I got licensed in 2000. I was doing hair and nails before that. And my whole family basically is in real estate. I'm like fourth generation, but I didn't, go that direction when, I had to go try something else. So I did hair and nails. And then it was actually a nail client of mine that said, "Why aren't you a realtor?" And she was a realtor. And that's what got me to switch gears. And so I basically joined a team at Cutler that was like a top producing team at the time, and did that the first 3 years or so, and learned real quick and fast, like just they put me in and just never looked back. And so I've
Got
been
started with it. What
yeah,
year was that? What year did you get your
2000.
license? 2000. Okay. So hair and nails. I don't think I ever knew that about you. So
Yeah.
do you do your own nails now?
No, I have never done my own. When I was doing them, I still got my nails done and stuff, but
Okay.
yeah, I missed it a little bit. And sometimes I still like that creative part. I I enjoyed it, but it was just brutal on like physically on my body, and like there's a cap on what you can make. So
Absolutely. So did you have kids when you got your license?
I didn't. I was single and no kids, so that came
Okay.
later. Mhm.
So where were you at in your business when you had your son?
Um, I was married, and let's see. Actually, my I switched from Cutler like right before like the recession, or like when the market tanked, um probably in 2005 or so. So I actually worked for my dad's brokerage, which my dad didn't really do anything. He had a broker's license, but I switched over there when like Cutler made some changes, and it was more like pay to play, and like rent space, and it was different.
Right.
um and thank God I did, because then I didn't have the overhead. And so I did that for 13 years, and basically pretty much ran everything. It was just me behind the scenes, and he was my broker. And so I had my son at that point, somewhere in that time, in that 13 years.
So did you
And
have a built business before you had your
yeah,
son?
yeah, I did. But it wasn't to the extent that I am now. I mean, that all came later. But I also have my appraisal license, or like my apprentice license. So for 7 years I did appraising too. So when my son came along, I did drive by, or the short form drive by exterior only appraisals. For I'd put him in the car seat, and we would go do exterior appraisals. And like I did about half my, I made like 70,000 that year just doing that. And then
Wow.
sales. I know it wasn't my primary, because at the time I had two stepchildren, and then Landon was a baby. So sales kind of took a back seat for, first couple years.
He should get an honorary appraiser's license.
Yeah. He already thinks he's a realtor. He already thinks he's sold homes. And,
Oh, really? So does he
oh
want to
yeah.
be a real estate agent when he grows up too?
He says no, but he can kill it on value. Like if we drive through our neighborhood, he'll tell me what homes are worth, and I'll be darned if he's not spot on. And that's how I was as a kid. Like both my parents were real estate appraisers, my sister, my grandfather, all of them. So, I would drive them nuts, because I would just know, and like they'd have to like, do all the um
Research and
too.
comps.
yeah, the right way. And I don't know, inherently knew what the values were. And so basically through their whole careers, if they get stumped on something, they'd call me and they'd be like, tell me what it is. Just from telling me, I'd be like, it's probably like, I'm thinking this. And they're like, darn it, if that's not exactly where I was at, you know? And so,
Right. So
um,
you still have this magical ability today? You can just drive by a house and see it and know what the value is?
my gut is usually pretty spot on still. This last year, it's been a lot different. So, but it's,
Post-COVID craziness.
yeah, I would say it's probably, I know a lot of people like do the research just like appraisers and like can't, don't, I have a lot of confidence in like, I know the value of things, I guess. I don't know. I've just always like, I know it before I kind of back into it. Like I do the research and so on, but it's usually like 9 times out of 10, I'm not wrong on what
I'm
my
going to call
initial.
you from
Yeah,
now on. If I have a tough time pricing out a house, I need to call Holly. I need Holly's opinion on this.
number of agents that do that, and I don't.
Or Landon. I'd be like, Holly, hand the phone to Landon. We need to
Yeah,
have a conversation.
yeah, exactly. But he'll tell me differences too going down the street, like why that one's worth more than the one next to it because it had a third car garage and stuff. Things I've never taught him, or like I don't know if he just gets it by osmosis or if it's in our blood, but it's kind of
Well,
cool.
think about you've been in real estate since before he was born. So how many times have you had phone conversations or conversations with people
And
near you about a deal that he's heard?
way too many, yeah.
He is pretty much an honorary appraiser, licensed agent. He could do BPOs. I might have to send him a certificate.
Yeah. I have the cute video of him, like when he was probably 6 years old. I had to take him because then I got divorced and I was a single mom. And my mom would help me a lot, but sometimes it didn't always work out. So he'd get dragged on showings. And he just, I had really cool clients. And yeah, I was comfortable, never take him on a first showing or something. But if I've shown you for a while and I get stuck, he's coming along.
That's
And
great.
yeah, so he just kind of took over the showing and he was like, and this is the kids' room and this is the mommy and daddy's room, and took a whole tour. So I just hit video and it was like he couldn't even talk all the way. Like he was like had that toddler voice,
Oh
and
my gosh.
one of
That's
my favorite.
funny. So what did
Yeah.
you do then? Like in the beginning when he was little, thank goodness you had already built up somewhat of a book of business by the time he was born, but how did you care for him? What kind of support did you have when he was really little and you were selling real estate?
At first, my husband, we scheduled all my appointments like in the evenings when he would get home and kind of work around it. Or my mom, I don't think my mom really helped me then. I initially got on care.com and interviewed caregivers, like, and
Okay.
had a neighbor that would come to my house because it was a culture shock to me, like just when you become a mom and you all of a sudden are stuck in the house, where it was like
Right.
at the end of October. So going through winter, you don't want to take a baby out in the dead of winter. You don't have to, or at least me. And I was so used to being on the go that I was like, I can't stay stuck in the house all the time, So I needed it for peace of mind and like just a couple hours. I think they came from like 10 to 2 or something, like 2 or 3 days a week. And then I could run out, go to the grocery store or go to the gym or just get out of the house. Because I work from home. So it was like I was always home and, just was
That had to
needed.
be rough.
Yeah,
Can you remember a moment, during that time where you might have felt your lowest? Like, can you think of a moment in your mind?
I would say being stuck in the house when he was an infant, and I wasn't doing as much, I wasn't producing as much, and I didn't realize that, like, maybe I don't know if I should say my self-worth, but, like, so much was connected to,
Your
and
production?
yeah, my production, and I could measure, like, okay, to me, that was my idea of success before I had kids and stuff, maybe.
That
It's
sounds
still
rough.
somewhat that way, but like obviously my family is way more important and my priorities have shifted, and the older I get, I'm kind of like coming a little bit more chill about everything and just but I'm my own worst critic, like nobody
We
can
all
beat me.
are.
I beat myself up. And, I think the mom, I have like mom guilt, like all the time, even when I'm doing my best, it's like, I always feel like I could do better.
Mom guilt is strong. And I feel like too, like when you have the mom guilt and then you're running a business and you feel like you're kind of slacking on the
Yeah.
business
And you
side,
feel the same guilt there, it's terrible.
because our businesses kind of are our babies too. Obviously not to the same extent as our actual babies, but
Yeah.
if you're in charge of these things, if you're in charge of a human life over here and a baby business that's growing up over here, I
Yeah.
can see where that guilt would come from. I feel it all the time. I feel it all the
Yeah.
time. Like,
It's all the time. Yeah.
that's tough. So now that Landon is older, and
Hmm.
you can probably leave him home alone for a while
Hmm.
now, right? Do you feel like that you have more time and freedom to grow your business, or do you still feel that mom guilt, like I should be here but I'm doing this?
I feel terrible leaving him at home alone because he's 11, but he doesn't love being home alone. But now there's, Eric and I merged and bought a house together. We've been here 4 months. So he's got 3 girls. I've got Landon. So now all of a sudden there's 6 of us here. So somebody's usually home,
So Landon and 4 girls, does he like
three
being
girls.
around, or 3 girls, does Landon like being around 3 girls?
He's getting used to it. He's getting used to it. Yeah, he's been the only one that's had all my attention. And so, it's just us. So all of a sudden there's a lot more people in the house, but it's fun. We're getting ready to go on vacation to Florida here on Monday. So
Okay, so an adjustment, but not a good adjustment, because he's not alone when you leave anymore. There's other people in the house. So now that you guys are all living together, and you kind of have your space, do you have an office set up where you're at?
yeah, Eric and I are sharing an office because we both work from home. So that's a little adjustment too. But we do so much. I do so much on the road from my phone a lot of times. But yeah, and I work a lot in the evenings or early in the morning. So not too many times do we have um like a problem, but he has some Zoom meetings and stuff, and usually I step out or whatever, or,
Sure.
we go someplace else in the house. But
Have you seen those cool? So there's another agent up in our area who works primarily in Cuyahoga Falls, and she bought this like awesome car desktop thing that you can set your computer on and attaches to the steering wheel so that you can just
oh my
work.
gosh, no, that would be
I
that'd be really,
will. I'm going to find out. I'm going to get the link from her for it, because I feel like this is a necessity for every
yeah.
agent.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
So, so I kind of want to switch gears a little bit, because we talked about your life and Landon and kind of where you are working up to now. So, and I asked you what one of your lowest points was, but I want to know what one of your best points was. Can you remember a time as a realtor mom where you had just such a great mom realtor moment that you would want to share it?
I would say after I got divorced, I kind of tanked for about a year. Like my income went down, and then I took Bold, which is a course that um,
KW offers.
they offer, but it's open to anybody. I took that, and that kind of snapped me out of the funk I was in,
Okay.
and so my income doubled in 6 months what I had done the whole year before, and that kind
Okay.
of me out. And then I realized how important and how much I kind of like geek out on mindset and classes like that and stuff. So if I get down, like I'll take a course, or get into podcasts and stuff again, or make that a bigger priority, and that always seems to get me going again.
So that is a really good experience. And I think it's important to know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you excel in your business and you know that you have provided what you need to provide with the income, you know that
Yeah.
your child's life will be better. So was that a dual moment because of that, that you knew your
uh
child's life would be better?
yeah, well, like one of the things I promised him was like I would take him to Disney, and I didn't wasn't getting child support or alimony or anything, so it's just completely
You.
me taking care of him. And I promised him I would take him to Disney, and I had told him the year before I tanked, and then we were getting ready, and I basically told him like I just can't do it this year, and that killed me. And I'm like, never again. to him, and I'm going to work my and we're going here. And so that's when I had that great year, and that was my goal in like that course. It was one of the things I take him there. So being able to take him there from Christmas night, we went for a week, which I didn't know was the busiest week of the entire year at
Right.
Disney. We had the most expensive, but like we did it up because I figured I'm not really like a Disney person. So I'm like, we're going to do it hard. And we did. And I could comfortably afford it, and it was expensive. And like being able to do that for him was awesome. And that was one of my highs, I guess.
That's a good memory. That's a good way to connect the two of revamping your business from your down moment and moving it into a positive experience with Landon. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So if I were to ask you as a mom and a realtor, and I know you're not married right now, but potentially, and you
No.
have been in the past, a wife at some point, because our husbands are our children at
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
What advice would you give for other realtor moms, whether they're up and coming, they just got licensed, they have small kids, or they're running a full-blown business and have a family? Do you have like one bit of good advice that you could say for them to
Yeah.
follow?
Don't beat yourself up and show yourself grace. Give yourself grace and just don't beat yourself up.
That's a really good one. That's a really good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
All right, Holly. Well, I appreciate you jumping on this call and talking a little realtor mom talk with me. You guys stay tuned for next week's episode. We have a really good one coming on next week. And if anybody wants to get a hold of you, Holly, or wants to reach out to you, how would they do that?
Call or text is best. My cell phone, should I say it?
Heck yeah, say it.
330-323-3872.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Cool. Thanks, Holly. You have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, mamas. Thanks for tuning in to Confessions of a Wife, Mom, and Realtor. If you liked today's confession, make sure you subscribe to hear more juicy stories from other realtor moms like you. See you next week.